Wow. And welcome to the Pando Commando podcast. This is Ryan Hunt. I am your host, and I'm excited about this. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the 10th mountain. I'm going to go into my monologue, if you will. But I want to thank a few people that are out there for supporting the Pando Commando podcast. Soon we'll be doing live interviews with 10th Mountain veterans from the 10th Mountain Museum. You can call it the mini museum because it's a very small one, but we'll be doing some live interviews right here in Chicago at the 10th Mountain Museum, which is amazing. It hasn't quite opened yet, but I think we're going to get the keys and be able to get in there and do our thing, which is just amazing. So we want to thank the 10th Mountain Museum here in Chicagoland, which is just amazing that they have one. Convenient for me, for sure, and also for the Pando Commando podcast, which is just amazing. We also want to thank Mountain Up, who is, of course, our brand, and you can see me wearing the Santa Pando Commando here hoodie. But you can find us at www.pandocommando.com, or if you could see the QR code up there, you can hit that as well. So, yeah, definitely hit us up there. Take advantage of some amazing swag that we have. So it's 1945. The war in Europe is grinding toward its end. High in the Italian mountains, a group of young American soldiers in white camouflage climbed cliffs in Germany, having been called impossible. They're cold, exhausted, and absolutely determined. Fast forward a few decades, these same men are back home in the United States, trading their rifles for ski poles, trail maps, and business plans. The patch on their old uniform says it all. A blue mountain, a red sword, and a motto, swords, climb to glory. Welcome back to our podcast. Today, we are definitely going to be talking about what happened to 10th Mountain after World War II, how a one-war mountain division went on to reshape American skiing, then came back as one of the most deployed units in the modern U.S. Army. This episode, I'm going to call it Climb to Glory After the War. First, let's talk about the most unexpected part of the 10th Mountain story. From soldiers to ski industry pioneers, when the guns finally went quiet, thousands of 10th Mountain veterans came home with a unique mix of experience, elite mountain training, leadership under fire, and a deep love of snow and steep terrain. Instead of leaving that behind, they brought it with them. They brought it home. All over the country, these vets became ski instructors and patrollers, resort founders and managers, think of Vail, gear designers, writers, and coaches, Nike, REI. If you've ever skied at a big name resort in the US, there's a good chance a 10th Mountain veteran helped build it, run it, or popularize it with the sport. They laid out runs, cut trails, and taught everyday Americans how to love the mountains the way they did. So the legacy of the 10th Mountain didn't stop when they turned in their rifles. It just moved to a different kind of mountain, one with a lift tickets instead of ammunition. But the story doesn't end there. Losing the mountain and getting it back. After World War II, the Army did what militaries usually do after big wars. It downsized and reorganized. The 10th Mountain Division was inactivated, then later reformed as the 10th Infantry Division. No skis, no mountain mission. Mostly a training and readiness role at beautiful Fort Riley, Kansas. For a while, it looked like Climb to Glory might be nothing more than a line in the history books and a patch and a shadow box. Then the world changed again, unfortunately. In the 1980s, the U.S. military needed a fast, flexible, light infantry division that could deploy rapidly almost anywhere in the world. In 1985, the Army reactivated the 10th Mountain Division at beautiful Fort Drum, New York. Same name, same mountain patch, new mission. This new 10th wasn't just about snow and skis anymore. It was about rapid deployment, light infantry tactics, training to operate in tough environments from cold weather to rough terrain. The spirit of the original ski troopers lived on, but the battlefield had shifted from Italian cliffs to a global stage, from ski troops to a modern war-fighting workhorse. After the attacks of 9/11, the 10th Mountain quickly became one of the most deployed units in the U.S. Army, in the galaxy. Soldiers wearing the mountain patch deployed to all over the world. The early operations in Afghanistan, hunting Al Qaeda in some of the harshest terrain on earth, Iraq during some of the most intense years of conflict and beyond, other hotspots and humanitarian missions around the world. Think of Somalia. Different wars, different enemies, different tools, but the same core mindset. Light, fast, and adaptable. Comfortable being uncomfortable. Able to fight and survive in terrain that breaks other units down. The same qualities that made the original ski trooper successful on Riva Ridge. Endurance, creativity, and small unit toughness were now being applied in places like the Kunar province, Baghdad, and beyond. The ethos that connects then and now, today, when you see that mountain patch on a soldier's shoulder, you're not just looking at a unit insignia. You're looking at a living lineage. It's the story of young men and women training at 10,000 feet at Camp Hale, ski troopers climbing cliffs in Italy at night, veterans returning home to build ski resorts and outdoor recreation in America, and a modern division that keeps answering the call in conflicts and crises around the world. Climb to glory isn't just a motto. It's a challenge handed from one generation of soldiers and citizens to the next. Whatever your mountain is to climb, and when you get to the top, find another one. Start climbing higher. Man, I'm telling you, some of the best times that I had in the military were with the 10th Mountain Division. I really was reborn at the 10th Mountain Division. For me personally, my personal story is that I was a young man, I was in college, and unfortunately, my father was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. I had to stop college, take care of him until he passed. And then 4 months later, my grandfather passed away. Very sad. It was harsh. And my whole patriarch was destroyed. I went into the Army, and I was assigned originally, Private Hunt was assigned to the 10th Mountain Division at Fort Drum. And very quickly, in 2 years, 3 weeks, Private Hunt rose to the ranks of Sergeant Hunt. I took my first fire support section 2 years and 3 months in, which was typically a Staff Sergeant E6 role. And I was off to the races. But I knew I needed to return to college. That was my original purpose pre 9/11. So I got out of the Army and went just 66 miles away to SUNY Potsdam. And that was right in the summer of 2001, well, fall, right? And walking back September 11, 01, for my first class, political science class, ironically, the TVs were pulled out and the first plane had already crashed. into the World Trade Centers. And I remember thinking, and initially, I didn't know. I thought this was a movie preview. And then I soon realized it wasn't. And then I witnessed, as many of us did, the second plane crashing into the World Trade Center, and then the unfolding of that day. So I returned to the Army, and in the Army's wisdom, they sent the young Second Lieutenant Hunt right back to Fort Drum. I would leave Fort Drum. I would actually go to the Combat Advisor Academy right on Camp Funston, which was where the 10th Infantry, not 10th Mountain, but 10th Infantry trained. And that's where I'd go through Combat Advisory School, which is interesting and a tie-in. I would return later to Fort Drum in a whole different capacity to actually recruit enlisted soldiers to become officers as part of Cadet Command's pilot program for the Army Green to Gold program, where they put one active duty dude out into the wild. And for some of you, over 200 of you, I helped you get into the Green to Gold program, and you became officers, and a lot of you have done some amazing things with your career. Not all of them were 10th Mountain. They were spread across the Army. But 10th Mountain has always been a part of what I do. Actually, Mountain Up, which was my first entrepreneurial effort, was inspired by the 10th Mountain. And I would say that it has given me so much. My customers have given me a lot, and it's just amazing. And just a small tribute to the past, the present, and the future of the 10th Mountain. So thank you. And, I want to take just a minute also to let everyone know, if you're a 10th Mountain veteran out there, we want to hear from you. I don't want to just sit up here and tell my stories, which I have some amazing stories from both my enlisted days and officer days, for sure. I want to hear from you. So if you're interested in being a part of this podcast, send me a message on Facebook or wherever you can find me on social. But you can also send me an email at info@pandocommando.com. We definitely want you to be a part of this. We want to tell your story, and we want to have a little bit of fun too. So with that being said, I want to thank you for joining me here. Just a very short thing. I do want to take a moment, just a quick moment here. I messed this up. Very quick moment here. Here we go. And I do want to pay, my respects to the family of Sarah. Amazing human being, patriot, soldier, who gave her life yesterday, tragically, in Washington, D.C. And Andrew, he's still fighting the fight. He is in my prayers, as both of them are in my prayers. So it's unfortunate. And that's really all I have to say about that. So anyways, I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you later. As I mentioned, once you get to that first summit, there are a lot of other mountains out there. So start climbing higher.